Let's call this part 2, working on this forklift here by Hyster. I'm going to be scraping off, loosening up some of this debris, dirt, dust on this air filter here. And then I'm going to blow everything off. I've done the same thing to the coils down inside of it. Take some kind of light brush. Make sure to, break up all this loose debris and everything. Because the dirtier something is, the more it's eventually going to cause you problems. And you want stuff to function correctly. You try to do preventive maintenance, and I'm going to blow all this stuff off with the air hose. So I've cleaned up the filter pretty good. I've got blowing out, scraping the fins on the inside of the radiator. Now the one thing that I'm wondering, because they said it was getting a little bit hot, is I'm going to probably have to take all this stuff out eventually, make sure that fan's working, but this is going to be a process where I'm, going through fixing a bunch of little things at one time and just, as we get to them type thing. So I guess we'll reinstall our air filter, go from there. Now it's got a little bar down in between here, so essentially you could stick it down in here, position it where it goes at, and then you can put the bar back in place and it puts tension up against it. Okay, now this is essentially your breather, your air, your vacuum, all that good stuff. Runs through here, comes through the back, goes into all the little places that it needs to go to, so we need to see what we need to do to check that thing out. Over here is where the hydraulic fluid goes. You loosen it up. It'll tell you how much hydraulic fluid you need. This thing's plenty full right now. We'll screw that back in. There's another reservoir over there where that yellow lid is. It's got some in it too, whether it's supposed to be there or not. We will see. As far as some of this other stuff and why they've got it tied up here, I'm not a real 100% sure at the moment in time, but we'll just have to figure that out as we go and see what all the leaks are, and see how dirty that is back in there. That really needs to be cleaned where the alternator and stuff is, because that is filthy. I mean, this thing has seen better days, I'm sure. But as far as all this other stuff, we'll just have to get it as we can get it and see what's going on back here. See what's leaking, what needs to be fixed, what can be fixed. Go from there. Okay, so basically scrapped and scratched and cleaned a few things off with with the air hose and everything without having to consult the big manual over there. Cleaned the battery up, blew everything off, and as you can see, it uncovered all that crap that was right there. So right there's where the .3 brake fluid goes. So we'll check it now. Boy, it took a second to break that thing loose, but at least does have some brake fluid in it. Probably wouldn't hurt to suck it out and put some new stuff in it just to make sure we got good brake fluid, because it's probably not been took apart in a really long time. And if you need something like that pumped out, you can go to CarQuest Advance and get one of these by the Performance Tool, the PT Tools, and it'll only cost you about $15. Comes with hoses for gas, hoses for oil, all that good stuff. Basically like a kid's bicycle pump. You pull it up, push it down, sucks everything in and out, and we can drain that thing in no time, fill it back up. Now we'll add our .3 brake fluid. Now while we're looking at it, this is the brake pedal. This is where the brake fluid is that we just added. Make sure all this stuff's nice and tight. Now this should have a rubber booty and the spring, as you can see, in behind it. So as you're pushing this in, it should help push that brake fluid in the places that it needs to go. Now something might need bled off, something might be stuck in the manual cable over here. We'll go through this, make sure everything's put together, and we'll find out. But the first thing anybody needs to do, alright, you see all that it pushes in. Now the back side is going to have these wires, sensors, looks like a bleeder valve possibly, and then clean all that stuff off. And of course the brake lines are them two lines right there. It goes underneath it, which is exactly what pops up right here, and that one goes over to that side. This one goes to that little box right there. It's where the other lines run, where they're going to go to at, hook into everything that they're going to run to at. And then we can see where that one hooks up as it runs down over on the passenger side, you'd say. It runs up and into the bottom of this. And then, of course, that hooked into all this is a hose running down through here. I mean, it goes to several different things, which is exactly why you need the book, because it could be any little thing hooked up with that system that's causing the problem. So I'll look at the emergency brake now. Now, if you trace that line right there, that little black line, well, the camera's not focusing. Trace that black line. It comes down through and hooks in to where all these springs and stuff are right here. So now I need to make sure that they've all got tension on them and see if it could be adjusted or not, because it could very well need a set of brake shoes on the inside of these tires right here, which means we would have to get us a big nice railroad jack this thing up, pull the tires off on it, put some brake shoes on it if we can get some. Now I've released the emergency brake, but as I pull it, you can see that it puts pressure on the cable in the front and in the back. So it's going to be pulling both front and back to be able to engage the brakes, which should let it be neutral whenever it starts. So we've definitely got a problem somewhere. We just need to see what it is that's sticking and causing it not to have power. Because if it's not the brake system, then there's something wrong with the transmission not engaging from the pedal over there. But as far as right now goes, folks, I'm going to be grabbing the Hyster service manual, the Space Saver. I'm going to be flipping through and I'm going to be reading what I need to read about this as I troubleshoot what's going on. And if I get a chance, I'll finish recording the video, third part, show you what all I do, or I'll at least give you an update on what did happen. But right now I got to dive into this book so that I know what to do with this Hyster forklift here. So if you want to stay tuned, you want to